What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got a lot of big news in the world of gaming, but before we get into anything, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. And we're starting off hot and maybe a bit cute here, and that's with Kirby and the Forgotten Land on the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo put out some screenshots, just doing a little bit more marketing for the game, and honestly, I'm having trouble containing my excitement for Kirby on the Nintendo Switch. Now, for those who don't know, I've been a Kirby fan since like the early 90s, like the first game on the NES. I played all of them when they came out, and Kirby at one point was right up there with Mario for me. Now, things did take a downturn as I got into RPGs more, and they kind of experimented with Kirby and then went to the Nintendo 3DS and all sorts of stuff, Kirby Epic Yarn and all that, and I kind of fell out. But I think that with this game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Nintendo is showing it off in such a way, and it's on a system that I like so much with the Switch, and the graphics and the colorfulness and the vibrancy and what they're doing with the gameplay, with the hub world and having the mini games. It's bringing me back to where I was with the original Kirby and with Kirby on the Super Nintendo and the games that I loved so much back in the day. So I'm really liking what they're doing here. On Twitter, Nintendo put out 4 different screenshots, which I think we've seen before, but just kind of hyping things up just a bit more, saying crystal clear waters, colorful carnivals, frigid landscapes, and arid deserts. Explore unforgettable stages and areas in Kirby and the Forgotten Land, coming to Nintendo Switch on March 25th. So it just gets me more excited and hyped to the point where I wanted to talk about it. But I also wanted to make this statement about Kirby and the Forgotten Land on the Switch. I'm almost positive at this point, based on what we've seen so far and based on the quality that I can just see with the gameplay trailer and everything, I think this might be the best-selling Kirby game of all time. Now, I think it would have to pass up some of the ones on the Super Nintendo. I know Kirby Star Allies did over 3 million on the Nintendo Switch. I think it's going to easily pass up that game because I don't even know how Kirby Star Allies sold that much on the Switch, but to be honest, 3 million isn't that large of a number, and we'll get to that in just a bit in the next topic here. But yeah, it's just really cool to see Kirby back and to see Kirby in the type of way that he's coming back to the Switch. This is incredible. So I do expect this to be the best-selling Kirby game of all time, and fairly quickly I expect it to be really well received. When it comes to review scores, I can see it getting maybe the low or mid 80s. So I'm expecting Kirby to have a fantastic real 3D debut on the Nintendo Switch. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, full 3D, kind of has like that Mario Odyssey type of joy and aesthetic to it. So I am here for it, and I cannot wait to play this game on March 25th. So what are your thoughts on Kirby and the Forgotten Land? These screenshots and the game itself, does this get you more hyped to play it? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic. We were discussing, or at least I alluded to, the 3 million mark for a game. So Metroid Dread. So for those who don't know, there's been a lot of discussion, talk, videos, all sorts of stuff on exactly how well Metroid Dread is going to do on the Nintendo Switch. And we know that it started out very hot, right? It had a very good start. Nintendo announced the sales that it sold nearly 900,000 copies. It pretty much broke the record of any other Metroid game very quickly. Now, we did know across the world in multiple different regions that Metroid Dread broke every single Metroid franchise sales record. Now we're going to go ahead and focus in on what's happening here in the US, because we have some actual positional charts here that talk about Metroid Dread. And this is a follow-up to multiple videos that I've had, but also my most recent video talking about Metroid Dread sales numbers and the positional charts. So on the 2021 US NPD Top 20 video games for Nintendo platforms. So this tells us all of the sales for games here in the US, physical sales with Nintendo. Now, some places have digital, but since this is a Nintendo only chart, Nintendo does not give the eShop sales to the NPD, so they only track physical, and we can kind of get an idea of how Metroid Dread is doing just here in the US, which is the biggest market for Metroid and is just the biggest market in the world for game sales. So if a game is doing well here, then chances are it's selling multiple millions of copies and everything. So on this 2021 US Top 20 sales charts, as you guys can see right here, you see your usual suspects. You've got Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Mario Kart 8, Super Mario 3D World, Animal Crossing, Super Smash Bros., Monster Hunter Rise. This is for all of 2021, all of 2021. So you're seeing all these games that have done well and games that have been out for quite some time. But then if you go down just a little bit more, you see a game right there that maybe you didn't expect to see based off of where you were getting your information from, and that is Metroid Dread, in at the number 11th spot, right in between New Super Mario Bros. U and also The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. So that is incredible to see the game do that well. Now, why this is significant and why it kind of counts towards potentially the game or looking like it's trending towards 3 million is if you look at New Pokemon Snap, that game predominantly sales here in the US. That game is over 2 million units. Also, if you look at a game like Mario Golf Super Rush, that game is on the 19th spot despite it launching all the way back early. I think it was June or so for that game. I know it was kind of like a summer type of release for it. So the fact that Metroid Dread came out all the way at the end of the year and it outsold games that were coming out at the beginning of the year for 2021 is really impressive. It's very impressive, and both of those games with Mario Golf Super Rush and also New Pokemon Snap have crossed 2 million units or right around there or crossed that. So Metroid Dread passed them up in a fraction of the time. So that's the reason why everyone's kind of saying, okay, it looks like Metroid Dread is going to hit that 3 million in sales. However, we didn't need the 2021 US top 20 video games for Nintendo Switch to say that. If you looked at the Amazon sales charts, which is a microcosm of what's actually happening in the US, especially because of the pandemic, you would have already seen that Metroid Dread was selling much better than those games before. It was selling better than pretty much the whole time than Mario Golf Super Rush. It was selling better than New Pokemon Snap. It was selling better than a lot of these games because it was constantly on the Amazon bestsellers, and so many people, even at that time, heck, even at this time, Amazon is a big ticket type of seller for video games. People just don't want to go into stores as much, so they were buying up Metroid Dread like crazy on Amazon. So that was just the US on Amazon. So you can know, or you can tell the game was doing well. It was constantly in the best sellers of 2021. It was in like the top 30 or something like that. It was also in the best sellers when it comes to the new releases, and it was a #1 bestseller for a number of weeks and pre-orders as well. So I already knew that the game was going to do very well here in the US, and we did hear about what was going on with all of the different sales records that it was breaking in other countries. So it does seem like Metroid Dread estimated is probably above 2 million units at this point, if it's well above games like Mario Golf Super Rush and above games like New Pokemon Snap. Chances are that it's still doing a lot better, because if you look at the Amazon sales charts now, Metroid Dread is above Mario Golf Super Rush and is above New Pokemon Snap. So it's still selling at a very good clip because of that. So it looks like it's going to hit that 3 million, and it kind of proves, not even kind of, it does prove, if this ultimately does end up hitting 3 million, which I think it will, it proves what I was saying before with the sales of the game. Necessarily speaking, 3 million isn't a large number, and we don't hear about it a lot because Nintendo does not announce stuff like that. But Nintendo has had multiple other games that are right around in the same popularity of a Metroid Dread or a Metroid franchise sell 3 million plus or sell a bit more than that. So it didn't seem crazy to me that Metroid Dread, considering all of the previous games that we've gotten on the Nintendo Switch that have came out that weren't as popular on the Wii or weren't as popular on the 3DS or on the Wii U or the GameCube or other stuff, would be far more popular on the Nintendo Switch because the system has sold 100 million units. And the fact that the system is a portable and it's a home console, so everybody is happy. The portable Nintendo fans are happy, the home console Nintendo fans are happy. You can get the game that you want to play and where you want to play it with most models of the Nintendo Switch, and people who just buy the Switch Lite get the added benefit of having a home console quality on the go. So pretty much it's a win-win for everyone in the situation and for all of Nintendo's franchises, and that's why you're seeing the franchises with the Switch effect. You're seeing all of them sell way better than their previous best very quick because of those aspects. Popular system, portable and home console. It's just something that's happened with so many different franchises on the Nintendo Switch. So I figured, based on the pre-orders and what we've already been seeing, it wouldn't be any different for Metroid Dread at this point. And so far, it looks like that is the case. So this is something that's going to be a reoccurring theme, because it has been a reoccurring theme. I talked about it with Kirby. We're going to see it again with more franchises that come out. We're going to see where it's the first time on the Nintendo Switch, or it's the first time doing, and it pretty much just beats out everything that it's already done. I think Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, that's going to be a game that does better. Bayonetta 3, that's going to be a game that does better as well. So we're going to see it across the board with multiple different games, like we've already seen it with a lot of Nintendo games out there. So what are your thoughts when it comes to Metroid Dread and the sales? What's going on? What it proves? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online will add the Banjo and Kazooie on January 20th. Nintendo has officially confirmed. So Banjo-Kazooie first launched on the Nintendo 64 back in June 1998. I remember it like it was yesterday, guys. The intellectual property and its developer Rare are now owned by Microsoft. Here's an overview of the game. The action game, released on the Nintendo 64 console in 1998, features an unlikely pair, a honey bear named Banjo and a Breagle named Kazooie. Together, the duo embark on a wild quest that makes use of their wide range of combined special moves. It all starts when the Wicked Witch Gruntilda kidnaps Tooie, Banjo's little sister, and Banjo and Kazooie set out to bring her back. Venturing from Spiral Mountain along the shark-infested coastline of Treasure Trove Cove through the icy perils of Freezy Peaks and beyond. But with Kazooie spending most of her time inside Banjo's backpack, they're like two heroes in one. Though they may squabble from time to time, with the two of them working together, nothing can stand in their way. Now you can join them on the journey into a magical world of adventure, and you guys are checking out the trailer here. It's in English and in Japanese. So yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is coming to Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack. And it's funny because I always like to look at the Twitter reception to stuff like this, because everyone was so angry about the Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack. And once again, I'll just state it just so you guys know, I'm not a classic type of person. I've already played all these games back in the day. I don't really care as much, but more and more people are like, okay, they're adding this. Okay, they're adding this. Okay, they're adding this game. And eventually, maybe people will see the value in it more so than what we've seen online. It kind of reminds me of like when the Nintendo Switch Online first launched with the Super Nintendo games and the NES games. People said it wasn't even worth $20. Then eventually people just started buying it and getting it and saying, okay, it's worth it. Maybe that will be the case with the Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack, because you have to remember that these games aren't removed from there. You get them as long as you subscribe, you get all of them. So they're just going to keep adding games, and games aren't removed from them. So maybe eventually, at some point, people think that it is worth it so far, especially since you can play a lot of these games. If they're multiplayer, you can play them online now, which you didn't have before in a previous virtual console or anything like that. So what are your thoughts on Banjo-Kazooie making its way to the Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack on January 20th? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. We've got Kingdom Hearts Integrum Masterpiece. We've got the official release date for these games, but of course it comes with the big asterisk of the cloud version, and there's demos up, and guys, it's not looking too pretty for these games. So Square Enix has just announced that Kingdom Hearts Integrum is scheduled to arrive on the Nintendo Switch on February 10th. This is a collection of several games, being Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, and Kingdom Hearts 3 plus Remind. It's currently planned to be cloud only, and you guys can check out the trailer, which you guys are doing right here. Journey through the exciting world of Kingdom Hearts and follow Sora as he and his friends embark on new adventures through Disney and Pixar worlds, and then it talks about all the different stuff that you can get here. But here's the biggest problem with this, guys. The collection will be available on February 10th, which is cool, right? There's a discount on there, but the pricing is $89.99 normally for all of this. Now, with the discount, it goes down to $71.99. And there are the demos where you can try it out, which they don't work too well from everyone that's kind of talked about it, even with good internet. I think you might need the super fiber speed connected directly jacked into your Nintendo Switch for it to actually run really smooth, or like it's supposed to run offline, or comparing it to the other systems. But to charge $71.99 with the discount for cloud-based games is just something I can't get behind. I can't endorse that. I can't sit here and say that this is a good thing for gamers out there when you have cloud versions of games for $89.99 normal without the launch discount. $90, yes, these games are fantastic and they're really good, but in a cloud state, $90 is just, in my opinion, a little bit too much for cloud games. And if they were actual physical games or actual digital games that play off the hardware, then okay, I completely get that, even though that they're much cheaper because they've been out on other platforms for a long time. So I understand that. But to have it running on the cloud and then charge that much is just not something that I agree with. It's just not something that I agree with. It's something that I can't tell you guys to go out there and buy. Not at that price. Maybe if they lower it, but not at that price in terms of right now, because it's not even downloading on your system or anything. It's not running off the local hardware. I can't get behind that. I can't endorse it, but it's there for those who want it. You can play a demo, or you can play the demos and see if it runs good on your connection, see how things are. And if you want, you can make your own informed decision on it. I just can't endorse it myself, but that doesn't mean other people won't have fun with these games. What are your thoughts when it comes to Kingdom Hearts and what's going on the Nintendo Switch with these cloud versions? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, guys. We did discuss this in a previous video, but I wanted to go over it just one more time here, and that is Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard in a landmark $68.7 billion deal. So Microsoft will acquire Activision Blizzard, the makers of Call of Duty, Diablo, Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush, StarCraft, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Tony Hawk, and much more in a big deal. $68.7 billion. And that includes everything here, guys. All those studios, Beanox, Demonware, Digital Legends, High Moon, Infinity Ward, King, Major League Gaming, Radical Entertainment, Raven Software, Sledgehammer Games, Toys for Bob. Everything is all there. Now, here's the thing. Activision will continue to operate individually until the transaction closes, which it should be closing sometime this year, according to Phil Spencer. And they're looking to change the corporate atmosphere and making sure that there's inclusion, because Activision Blizzard has been in the news lately, if you haven't checked, when it comes to all the lawsuits and problems they've been having at the company. Now, according to Phil Spencer, he said this on the actual news Xbox page. Activision Blizzard games are enjoyed on a variety of platforms, and we plan to continue to support those communities moving forward. So it doesn't necessarily mean that every single game is not going to be on PlayStation. It does seem like a lot of the multiplayer focused games, or games that already have a large amount of people that play on PlayStation, will continue to get those games. Now, according to Bloomberg, citing a person familiar with the company's thinking, which whatever that means, Microsoft plans to keep making some of Activision's games for PlayStation consoles, but will also keep some content exclusive to Xbox. So this is very similar to like the Minecraft deal, or to like Mojang or whatever it is, or very similar to the Bethesda deal, where some stuff is still going to come out on there, but most of this stuff is probably going to be for the Xbox and PC platforms and smartphone and mobile and cloud and all of that. So what I'm guessing is that if it's a single player focused game, so like a Crash Bandicoot or like a Spyro or something like that, that might just be exclusive to Xbox. Whereas if it's a big multiplayer game that already has a set and dedicated community on PlayStation, that's going to go over to the PlayStation base, and it's still going to be there. So Call of Duty Warzone, for example, has millions of players on PlayStation. It doesn't really make much sense to take that and strip it and put it only on Xbox when it has so much money coming in, billions in revenue coming in from PlayStation. So I expect stuff like Warzone to be on PlayStation going forward, but maybe if there's like a new Call of Duty campaign, maybe that's only on Xbox or exclusive on Xbox, or you get it first on Xbox, and PlayStation, it doesn't come at all, or it comes later down the line. So I can see stuff like that, but having World of Warcraft and having StarCraft and having Call of Duty and Diablo and Overwatch and all of this stuff, man, this is insane for Microsoft. And obviously Microsoft fans are absolutely elated. They're flying on cloud 9 at this point, man. They are so excited about all of these coming to Game Pass and everything like that. But I do think if there's anything with this is going to increase the cost of Game Pass. I think it's very evident and appears here, what you can see, that Game Pass will definitely move up in price because they're going to be adding some of these games in there. You can't just offer all of this for what they're currently charging right now. So I think that they are loading up in order to make the price jump with Game Pass more acceptable by getting Bethesda, by getting Activision. If you inject all of those games, which they've been doing with Bethesda and all that, it can justify the price jump to people, because that price jump is coming this year. And these type of announcements are to soften the blow, or to say, okay, well, now it's worth it because they have all this and that and that and that and that and this. So that's going to be happening, in my opinion, at least. Now, on a personal note, I'm not in love with a mega corporation coming in and buying up everything. I think that that's definitely stagnates competition and all that, but it's not about what I think. It's about what Microsoft wants. And what they want is to make Game Pass seem like it's the greatest thing in the world since sliced bread, which I think that people do think that it's better than sliced bread because it's video games. So yeah, it is what it is there. But what are your thoughts on this, guys, when it comes to everything that we've discussed? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for someone new, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.